further ado, I would like to introduce you to our fabulous presenter, Myra Roldan. Myra is a dynamic and creative senior instructional designer with over 15 years of experience creating innovative training solutions for adult learners in corporate environments. She joined GP Strategies 5 years ago and has worked with several clients, including Fortune 500 companies. What makes Myra stand out is that she knows how to go with the flow and is able to build strong relationships with her clients. This allows her to quickly assess their needs and analyze requirements to recommend training solutions that not only meet their specific needs, but also creates engaging content with an innovative edge that helps her clients perform like rock stars. So with that, Myra, I am going to turn presenter rights over to you.
Thanks, Kayla, and that was an awesome introduction. Couldn't ask for anything better. So I'm really excited to be presenting today on the topic of augmented reality because we all know that it's a trending topic in the learning industry. So over the past year, I've been working with augmented reality and integrating it into my learning solutions for various clients. So today, I hope to share some really important lessons learned about augmented reality. All right, so my goal today is to give you some guidance on the different interactions that you can include in your AR projects. I'm also going to demonstrate how you can easily author an AR project for yourself using a really low-cost solution. And when I say low cost, it's free to design, and then it's very low cost to publish, and we'll cover some of that as we go along. I'm also going to hit on some important design considerations and share some ideas to help you in implementing your own AR solutions across your organizations. But before I do that, let's start with a quick definition of augmented reality, or as I'm going to refer to it, AR, just because it's easier. So AR is technology that allows you to combine digital media and integrate it into your physical world. So think Pokemon Go, because that was one of the most notorious apps. It caught a lot of media hype. But basically, you can take digital media, information from the web, or information that you create, and you can overlay it on the physical world. However, it should be noted that augmented reality isn't new technology. It was actually created in the 1940s. That's how old this technology is. It's just mainstreaming right now. So in the 1940s, it was first implemented into night fighter jet planes by the military when they figured out how to project digital radar information onto a pilot's windshield so they can get important information about their targets and their location when they were flying at night. So that's really useful information. That's a great use of augmented reality. Fast forward to today, and now as instructional designers and learning professionals, we can use augmented reality to enhance a learner's experience because instructional design is really moving more towards that learner experience. And it's not just about designing e-learning courses or designing ILT. We're designing experiences. Plus, if you think about it, we have a new generation of workers that are going to be joining the workforce, and they have an expectation that technology be integrated into their environment and not just be made available. So we really need to start moving towards technology integration as part of our overall strategy. So before we jump into the thick of things, if you haven't already done so, visit the URL on your screen and download this app to your smartphone or your tablet because I've built in some interactions into this webinar. So you'll be able to, with the app, point it at the screen, tap your screen, and get some additional media so you can see how AR really works in our environment. There's going to be a logo at the bottom of the screens, and I'll call it out as we go through to make sure that you know when you can scan. Plus, when you've received a deck, you can print the deck out, and you can also test the AR app using printed material because that's the ultimate goal. All right, so moving forward, let's explore some examples. I've posted here some of my favorite examples of augmented reality use. These are apps. So we have Pokemon Go, Snapchat, Google Translate, and Yelp Monocle. And I'm going to confess, I love Snapchat. I will, if you follow me on Snapchat, you will see a picture of me with a filter applied to my face at least 4 times a day. So, but we're not going to focus on what these apps do. What we're going to focus on is the user experience that each of these apps provides the user. So let's take Pokemon Go, for example. And we've read the articles about it, and we've seen all the hype about it. Pokemon Go requires the user to take their phone and scan the environment with the Pokemon Go app. And it requires them to walk around and move around different locations in order to catch a Pokemon, right? So that's the ultimate goal of that app. So it forces the users out of their house and into the environment and into their neighborhoods to explore. So Pokemon Go was kind of ingenious in that user experience. It gets people out and exploring. However, it did pose some dangers also because people weren't paying attention. Now take Snapchat, Google Translate, and Yelp Monocle. Those 3 apps allow the user to engage with the app without having to roam, without having to, move around. They can be in one location. They can be static. With Snapchat and Google Translate, you could be standing in one location to use the app. Google Translate, you can, point your phone with the app at a foreign language sign, and it will translate it for you, which is a really cool technology. Yelp Monocle, if you're in a foreign location, a place that you're not really familiar with, you can stand on a sidewalk and scan your environment to see what's around you and locate restaurants and other types of organizations. So that user interaction is really important because it's part of that user experience. When designing your AR solutions, you need to consider a lot of different elements. And some of those are, what's the user lighting with, the lighting of the environment the user is in? Is there background noise? How is the data connection? Do they have Wi-Fi or data that they can connect to? Because if you don't have a good data or Wi-Fi connection, your solution may not work that great because they won't be able to access the information that you need to deliver to the devices. Plus, I think my biggie is that you want to engage your users and challenge them mentally and not physically, especially in organizations where time is limited. We don't want to have people roaming all over the offices trying to obtain information unless you're doing something that is organized and planned out, such as a scavenger hunt. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. Okay, so AR experiences, you can build them as complex or as simple as you want them to be. You can create and implement an AR solution on a shoestring budget, literally. And I'll show you a tool where you can create a really fast AR solution, and you can create it in a matter of minutes. But you need 3 important pieces. The first thing you're going to need is your target and your content. So this is content, number 1. Your target is going to be the trigger that will call all your digital media to. So it could be an image of a location, it could be an image of a document, it could be a statue, so it could be, your target can be a lot of different things. The content that you're going to tie to it, you need to make sure that it's relevant in a learning space. So you can deliver items such as video, audio, quizzes, websites, product support sheets, such as job aids and interactive job aids and e-learning courses and other media. Second, you're going to need an AR creator. And listed here, I have 4 different ones that allow you to create content free. So you can start to create your content. It's free to use. You're only charged when you publish your content. And the solution we're going to use today is Layer. That's what I'm going to demonstrate. And if you have downloaded the Layer app to your phone, you can scan this screen right now, and you can get links to the 4 creators that I have there. So if you scan the page, make sure that on the bottom of your layer app screen, you'll see a star. Just tap that star, and it'll save the screen to favorites for you, and you can continue engaging with the webinar. So I'm going to leave this up for 2 more seconds before I move on. So just to let you know, this session, I'm going to be using the Layer Creator to create a document live with you guys right now. So I'm going to be switching to that in 2 seconds. So I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so now you should be seeing my screen, and it's the Layer screen. It's layer.com. This is the application we're going to use today. So you can create an account freely with this website, and I'm going to go here. Once you're logged in, you're going to click on your name, and you'll go to Layer Creator. Okay, and this is where I create magic. So I already have some documents that I've created here, including this presentation, and it's published, but we're going to create a new campaign. So the most important thing about your Layer app is that you need to focus on your content and not the technology. The technology is not the superstar here. It is your content. So here I have a OneNote document that has my links that I'm going to use. And I also have a folder that has the content, the images and videos that I want to include in my document. So I'm going to minimize these. And in order to create your project, the first thing you'll do is you'll create a new campaign, and you'll give your campaign a name. I'm going to call this AR Demo. And then select the campaign type. This isn't really important. This just allows you to organize it for yourself. I'll just select Poster and then click Create Campaign. So now this is the creator page for your actual AR project. So the first thing you need to do is you need to upload your target. So your target can be, again, an image, a PDF, or a zip file. We want to make sure that we're uploading, and I'm going to give you some advice. You need to upload a clear image. You can't upload an image that's too small because it won't recognize it. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to upload an image from my folder that I have already specified. And I'm going to select my visual resume, and that's basically it. So it's going to accept my document, and if the document were too small, it would give me a warning, and it would allow me to add additional pages. You can add as many pages as you want also to your project. When you publish, you pay per page, and we'll go over that in a minute. So I'm just going to click Add Page, and now as you can see, it's going to be analyzing my page, but I can start working on it. So I'm just going to click Start Editing. And what it does now is it puts my image on my working canvas here. And on the side, I have these options of different things that I can use to integrate into my document, so to create my experience. So I can add a website, I can add a call to action, a poll, an email. I can have users download an app. I can have them add me to their contacts. I can show an image. I can add media, such as a video, interactive carousel, or audio. I can add social media links. And then there's this advanced feature. This requires a premium account, and a premium account just means you pay for the page. It's not a subscription. So if you're going to publish this, let's say I wanted to integrate like an interactive puzzle here, I would purchase the premium account, and I'll click on that so you can see. So it's $34 per page, and it's good for a year, or $350 for the page. That doesn't include the advanced features. So we'll go back. And so now let's just start building this. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a link. So I'm just going to click Website, and I'll drag it to my page. It doesn't matter where you put it. I'm going to open up my links here, and I'm going to add my website. And go back here. Oops, I lost my website there. I deleted it accidentally. So add my link. Now I can change the text on the button, or I can make this a custom button by clicking Custom, and I'll create that in a minute. I can also add some animation. So I'm going to add a pop to it. And then I'm going to play it so you can see. So it just basically pops when the user scans my page. And I'll save it. And that's really it. So now I'm just going to place it. So When you're designing your document, the one thing I want you to be aware of is that you really need to design for the small screens, because people will be viewing your app more than likely on their smartphone, and those smartphone screens, even though the smartphones have gotten larger, the screens tend to be small. So I'm going to add a video. I'm going to click on media, and I'll drag the video over here, and I'm going to upload my video. You can either add a URL, upload a file, or use a previous video. Actually, let's do a URL. So I have a URL here. I'm going to use a YouTube video, and this is my personal YouTube video. So this is a great content curation tool here. You just need to make sure that you are using content that you have rights to use. So I'm going to use my own video. If you're curating content, just make sure that you're reading the rights for the content you're using. Okay, so I've added my link, and I am going to make this bigger because I want whoever's interacting with this to really be able to see my video. So I want to make it, I want it to take up a good amount of real estate here. Okay, so I'm going to add one more thing. So let's see what we're going to add. Let's add Twitter. So I'm going to add a Twitter feed. So I may move this around a little bit. And I'm going to do a default tweet here. Okay, let's see. I'm typing pretty fast here. I'm impressed with myself. Okay, and tweet, and just leave it. I'm going to add some animation to it. I'm going to save it. And again, because I'm designing for the small screen, I want to make sure that I make it visible and easy to view. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure you give some space in between your elements here, just because you want them to be jumbled on that small screen. So as you notice, I've been increasing the size of the buttons just because I want to make sure I design for for fat fingers. So then we've added some elements. If you click on text, with this, if you scan this page with your layer app, all the elements that I added will now appear. So the cool thing is now that I can print this document, I can have my printed document already out there. And so when individuals scan my document with the layer app, they'll get my rich media on there. And again, if you're scanning this, click the star button at the bottom of your screen, because you can save that to your favorites, which you can access later for later viewing. So what are some of the benefits of that later viewing? Well, if you're delivering content such as, let's say, an interactive job aid during a live event, your learners can just favorite that document onto their, and it saves it right to their phone, and they can use it later. They can print it, they can email it, and they can share it. So think about all the paper printing that we're cutting down. So I'm going to stop sharing here. I'm going to return back to our presentation because I want to share some best practices with you now. So that was a lot that we covered, and I hope that that gave you a good look at what it looks like. So let's figure out some best practices. So the first thing you want to do is you want to define your learning experience. What do you want the learner experience to be? Are you going to create a scavenger hunt where you want them to search through your campus for different elements? That's great for new hire training and onboarding. Are you going to create video scenarios with, let's say, customer scenarios for sales or for customer service representatives, or just for any kind of person that's interacting with a customer? Are you going to create interactive job aids that you're going to push out to a learner via an AR banner during an instructor-led training or a live event? Are you going to integrate games? You can actually do some fun gaming with this. Or are you going to create demo videos that you'll then apply to an existing manual that can show someone exactly how to perform a task that you're asking them to perform within that job aid? Second, remember, gather your content. Your content is king, not the AR solution. Okay, so when you're making people rock stars, it's not by having them use AR, because the novelty does wear off after a little bit. It is the content. And then you want to make sure you design for the small screen. You want to make sure that whatever you're designing fits within the screen. So you want to make sure that you have clear interaction methods, that your text and your items that you're adding on, such as your buttons, are visible and legible. You want to Be conscious of the group and placement of your visual information. So you want to try and make it logical. You don't want to jumble it on top of each other. You want to call out information that needs action. So for example, I changed the website button to visit my website instead of just website, so that way people know when they click, they're going to go to my website. And use icons. Icons are awesome. I know that a lot of organizations have different feelings about icons, but listen, this is an AR experience, and we are an emoji-driven society lately, so icons are worth a million, 1,000 words. So, to wrap all this up, remember, best practices: define your experience, gather your content, design for the small screen, and keep it moving. So that's it for my portion of the presentation. Now I'll pass this back to Kayla.
Awesome. That was awesome. I'm going to be playing with it for a while now. I was multitasking while we were on the call. So thank you, Myra, for those awesome insights. We do have we don't have actually any minutes left. We're about 2 minutes over. So just as a reminder, if you have a question for Myra, enter it into the Q&A module at this time. We'll get to them right away. A lot was covered in a very, very short session, and there's a lot that we could obviously discuss. So we encourage you to continue the conversation with Myra beyond today's session. You'll see her contact information is available in the slide deck, and we'll send everyone a link to a follow-up blog post where she'll be addressing some of today's key takeaways, links to the Layer app, and a few other insights from today. I'd also like to remind you that the recording and slides will be sent to the email address that you provided. This will probably go out on Monday or Tuesday of next week. So with that said, there are a lot of questions that have come in. We will try to get through as many as we can. So thanks to those of you who can hang in with us for the next few minutes. And if you can't, no worries. Myra will be addressing them in her blog post. So if you do have to drop off, we definitely understand. So here's one question. With the Layer app, are they always public? Can you create passwords or use other ways to restrict for the target audience?
So I would say that no, they don't always have to be public. So if you are going to restrict it for your audience, what you can do is not apply the Layer logo to it and just verbally let people know, hey, this is an augmented reality document. So unless someone knows that AR has been applied to it, they wouldn't be able to scan it. And also you need to look at how you're using your information. Are you using it internally or externally? Where is it posted? So there's different strategies for that.
And that kind of goes into the next question, which is, are there any firewall or IT security concerns that I should take into account?
Yeah, so going back, you need to make sure that whatever content that you are publishing, that you're publishing it outside your firewall. So if you have information that's sensitive and it's only for internal use, you need to specify to anyone who's engaging with that content that it is for only internal use. To make sure that you're within your IT security systems. If they're required to sign in to get information, it's not good use of AR because then it just adds an extra layer of complexity to your documents.
Next question is, what would be the lowest level of effort started, on a project that you could consider to get started?
So just like I showed you, where I took it, that's an existing document I had as my visual resume. I didn't create that resume, and what I did is I curated content and used that content that I curated to add it to my document. So content curation in existing documents are huge wins. You just need to make sure that you have rights to whatever content you're curating within your AR document.
This is a great question. Actually, I was on a business radio call yesterday, and one of the things that came up a lot was on analysis and measurement of our learning efforts, and so this question actually ties in really nicely with that discussion. And so what exactly, when you're talking about the enhanced experience, how do you know when you have that with this type of a platform, and how do you measure how the enhanced experience is? Okay, so there's a lot of ways that you can do that. So if you're going to use AR for the first time in your organization, I suggest you use it within a live setting, like a live training, because that way you can actually get feedback. However, XAPI is also a great way to tie, you can really tie that into your AR documents and into your AR experiences and really track how learners are integrating. That's a great idea. Well, the next question actually was asking if we can go back to one of the scannable screens, I think, because we went through it so quickly. So for the rest of the Q&A, we'll get through maybe one or two more. I will leave it on the best practices screen, which, Myra, is this one scannable?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I just want to make sure. All right. So another question is...
Actually, sorry, can we, let's do the previous screen because this one's a little bit better. It has links.
Okay, this one right here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry, there are so many questions to get through. What locations would be suitable for me to host my augmented reality assets?
So it depends on, if you're internal or external. If you're using external content, like curated content, you don't have to worry about hosting it because all you need is links. If you're hosting content that's internal to your organization, it should already be hosted on in a location that's accessible publicly where it doesn't require any kind of login. So make sure that whatever content you're sharing or overlaying onto your physical world is actually content that can be shared. You don't want to share private information that's like for internal use only, unless that content, the AR experience, is staying internally.
And I'm going to go ahead and do one more question. I apologize if we did not get to yours. I know there are several more that we did not get to, but Myra will be working diligently later today and tomorrow to answer all of these questions in the follow-up blog post. But if you can share, is there an optimal size for images in the videos that you implement into the content?
Yeah, so for your video size, I say use YouTube standards for your videos. And I can share those out after the session because then those videos, you can actually scale them up and down. If you create a video that's too tiny, let's say you create a video that's like 240 by 240, that's a small square, that's really tiny. And so when you try to like blow it up, as I was doing where I was kind of making the handles a little bit larger, that video will become blurry. So I'll share those numbers with you guys for the YouTube publishing. And then for your images, again, anything over 500 pixels is great because if you compress it, if you make it smaller, it doesn't lose quality, and if you make it a little bit bigger, phone screens don't go over the 500 pixels. So when you make it a little bit bigger in the AR document, it doesn't lose quality.
Awesome. Well, thank you again to today's speaker, Myra Roldan, and thanks to everyone who attended for your time and attention. We do hope that you'll join us for our next webinar. This will be next week on January 24th. This will be with Dawn Duquette, who will actually be doing a recap with our partners, ATD, on all of the learning trends that we'll be talking about during our Learning Trends series. So we encourage that you go to our website, gpstrategies.com, and check out all of our upcoming webinars and either join the ATD session or one of our future Learning Trends series webinars. They're all available online for you to register for. And I wish everyone a great day. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.